I don't know about that now. But with that in mind, good morning and welcome to the LA Artist Podcast. Today, we have an amazing artist that we've met for the first time a couple months ago, Alycia Walter. On your Instagram handle is Cheyenne.
Yeah, so Cheyenne is actually my middle name. Yeah, but I go by Alycia Shiann because I don't know. I think I just wanted to. I don't know if I necessarily wanted a lot of people to know my last name, but like it's whatever. And I think Alycia Shiann kind of like flows.
It does sound better.
Yeah.
I do like that for sure.
And also like Walter, every Walter that I've seen or heard, it's like, oh, Walter White, or like it's like an older like white man name, and so I'm like, let me do something a little bit more like
more you.
Yeah.
More, I can dig that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us, and then we also have Andrew Rano as our co-host.
Yo.
And I am Mr. David Rano, and welcome to the show. You are listening to the LA Artist Podcast, where we chat with local artists about their works, styles, what influenced them to start their artist journey, and more. Subscribe so you don't miss the latest episode. And to see bonus content, check out our website on the description below. This podcast is produced by Lorano Gallery, an LA-based gallery and studio space dedicated to showcase work from upcoming artists, as well as provide space for art shows, workshops, photo and film production. Feel free to check out the gallery at loranogallery.com.
So hydrated.
I know.
You're too healthy. But with that, again, thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you for having me.
This is season 2 of the Lartist Podcast, and this is your first time being here. Hopefully you enjoy our conversation, our chit chats, and our banter.
I was enjoying our pre-banter already, so I'm excited for the rest of this.
I'm still trying to figure out if we should have a pre-show show to the show. Because we have an after show for the show, but I don't know.
I think the after show is good because that's pretty much what we, like the way you explained it. That's pretty much what we were talking about. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that for sure. I'm just trying to monetize everything.
we had a
capitalism.
We had a pre-show after show.
Yeah.
Show pre-show after show for the show. You know. And but yeah. So again, thank you for joining us. So Alycia Shiann on Instagram, all the descriptions and the links will be in the description, including a description for the episode. But anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself. You do a lot of acrylic work, and for the most part, you do a lot of large acrylic work.
Yeah,
right?
I would say. So I didn't start doing like bigger canvases until pretty recently, I think. During COVID, I was working a lot on like 12 by 16s. And I think that was also because I felt like I wasn't ready for like a bigger canvas. But now that I do work on bigger canvases, I love it because you have a lot more room for error too. And then I think it's just, you get more immersed into like the world that I'm trying to build when I paint, or like what my paintings mean and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the I'm working on one right now, and it's the largest one I've worked on so far. It's a 30 by 40. Ooh. And so yeah, and I'm doing it horizontally because I've always worked vertically, and so right now it's kind of like kicking my ass, but no, I'm in the middle of it right now, and it's, you know, it's just every art I feel like has that kind of like quote unquote like ugly stage, so that's what it is right now. But gotta keep working at it. So
well yeah, I feel like you need to have that ugly stage, you know, that sketch where you haven't refined, and there's still room to play.
Yeah,
you know, because that's the only time you have room to play.
Yeah, like
once it's almost done, I'm like, yeah, you can't redo the entire thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
Oh yeah.
Just repaint everything.
I've had some where I'm like probably like 50%, and then I'm like, no, I'm just gonna paint over it all in like black, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just start over, fresh.
So that means it's got a hidden painting.
Oh yeah, some of them do. Some of them do.
Oh yeah, I forget what is. There's a name for it, because a bunch of like old masters, they would paint over their previous work is like if something wouldn't sell or if they didn't like how a portrait was going,
Mm-hmm.
they'll just re-gesso everything and then just paint another one. And then now historians they have like these machines where you could see like the painting
Oh,
underneath
no
the paint,
way.
and they find, oh, it's like a half finished portrait, is like, or it's an almost finished portrait that the artist just painted over and did something completely different. There's a
Oh,
name for it, but
Yeah.
I
that's really
forget.
cool.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they'll use it's not necessarily like X-ray machines, but machines that can separate layers and
Mm-hmm.
colors and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think I heard about that once, but
Mhm.
it was I don't even remember how old I was. But it was on the news, and they said that they found like numbers under the Mona Lisa painting.
Mm.
I think so, and I was like, when I
Is,
was like little when I saw that, so I don't know how true it
is
was,
it a
but
treasure map?
yeah, no, I was like, is it like a paint by numbers? Like that's not actually the real one that we're seeing.
That'd be funny. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Mona Lisa was actually paint by numbers.
yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of painting by numbers, like how many paintings have you done by number?
By number, like the ones that you get at like the store or
No,
something.
as in
Or-
how many number
Oh,
of
just like
paintings
how many
you
have I
had?
done?
Yeah.
Okay. I have done a lot. I've done a lot of paintings, but I'll count the ones that I have done that's been like all from my own imagination and stuff, because I used to do a lot of portraits, and that got kind of old for me. And so I believe how many I've done just like out of pure imagination at 2, 3, probably around like, I don't have that many, probably like 8. And then this one I'm currently working on will be 9. And then I also have a lot of colored pencil stuff that I do on wood. And so with that, probably altogether, probably around like 12 or 13.
You're gonna do more.
I know.
You're gonna yeah. You gotta get to a point where it's like I lost count.
I know,
I
but
lost
I
count.
want them all on my walls, and so I'm like, I'm gonna run out of wall space, and then, but there's been a lot that I've painted in the past. It's just either if I don't like it, I'm just like I throw it away, or like my mom has some too, and then I used to do commissions a lot during COVID, and so who knows where those are, but yeah, ones that I like am proud of and they're like in my official portfolio, probably around like 13 or
I can
something.
dig that.
Yeah.
And how long? Yeah, because with that, how long have you been painting?
So I always grew up drawing. Like I have a bunch of drawings of me like doing Disney princesses and stuff. But I didn't start doing it painting and drawing seriously. My junior year of high school. So I was 16. I just turned 24. So what is that? 8 years? Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, about 8 years, and then it was always kind of on and off because I just graduated college last year in May.
Mhm.
So I was always kind of like focused on school and stuff like that. And then but now it wasn't until August of 23 that I started doing art more serious, or taking it more serious, and like doing shows every month and stuff. So but yeah, altogether I've been painting and drawing for about 8 years, like seriously.
That's cool. I can
Yeah.
dig that.
Yeah.
So would you say that you are like at the beginning stages of your artist journey?
Yeah, I definitely would. Like I know 8 years is a long time for painting and drawing, but I have never been this serious and like dedicated to what I'm doing until a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So I would consider myself like a new emerging artist, I would say.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is one of those things. We had uh when we were talking with Miranda on one of the episodes, we were talking about how as a new emerging artist, you have to recognize that you're new. So you have
Mhm.
to recognize that, you have a long way to go. So
Oh yeah.
it's like, just enjoy the mess ups, enjoy the learning, enjoy
Yeah.
the process. And
I'm very much the type where I'm like, I want it now. Like, I just want it so bad. And I know there's probably a lot of people like that, but I'm also only recently learning that it's like I've heard this saying before, but it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And especially with this field, I feel like it's definitely I've learned it's a little harder I can't speak for like musicians, actors and stuff, but I think there's definitely you have to kind of search for the opportunities. They're not going to find you. So
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
definitely put in a lot of work.
Yeah, because it's all about the longevity of it.
Mhm.
Like because again, if you're an actor or musician, you can pop and go worldwide real quick.
Yeah, especially with like TikTok and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And not saying that that's a bad thing, but
Mhm.
when it comes to artists and painters, it's like we don't get that type of opportunity as much.
Yeah. And it's like people really have to like your stuff in order for them to like continue to support you.
Yeah.
Cuz you can like a song by an artist and that artist is going to get all those streams from just that one song that popped off, but like your artwork, I feel like it has to speak to a specific type of person or a
Yeah.
specific type of audience.
Yeah.
So
And if somebody buys the original, like, okay, nobody else is going to buy the
yeah,
original.
yeah, it's like there's only one
There's only that
original.
one.
Yeah.
It's only that one piece.
Mhm.
And speaking of that one piece, do you have like a dedicated area, and how long do you usually like are in that creative moment and paint?
Yeah, so I luckily my apartment right now has a studio like as one of the amenities. So that's like no one's ever in there, so I kind of consider it like my studio, which is really nice. And then I try to be in there at least like 2 or 3 hours a day because that's what my actual like work is. Like I'm working all day, but it's always like it's laptop stuff, like
Yeah.
kind of boring, but I want to at least because that's what I love doing is I love actually painting. I love actually drawing. So I obviously life happens. Sometimes I'm not able to go in there at all, but I try to do it at least 2 hours a day. More if I can, but yeah, that's pretty much what how long
can
I'm in
dig
there
it.
for.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good routine, to stay consistent.
Yeah, I know, and I've learned like being my own because I'm working for myself, so I'm like learning to be my own boss kind of, and it's definitely a lot of discipline. And like I had my boyfriend make me a schedule because I'm like I was just in the beginning I was kind of just like doing whatever, like
Yeah.
and it just wasn't working. I was like either burning myself out or I felt like I wasn't doing enough. And so then now that I kind of have like a set schedule and like I have like my checklist and all that, it's gotten easier. I'm still learning, but I think that's definitely artists need like some type of structure,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that because
Mhm.
it is you can get into the mindset of, oh, like I can paint tomorrow.
Mhm.
I can paint tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then that painting never gets done.
Yeah.
Because something else would be like, oh, I'm inspired now to paint something different, and so that painting gets just racked
Yeah.
and left behind. And then like, okay, cool, I'm inspired to do this one, and then I'll paint tomorrow, and then oh, I'm inspired to do another one.
Yeah.
Like, no, you have to have a little bit of discipline too.
Stop telling people my artist routine.
I see a lot of half finished. No.
I have quite a few like unfinished that I have no interest in painting anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I usually try and work on like something I'm doing is like a New Year's resolution for me. I'm doing like one drawing and then one painting kind of like simultaneously because I do want to do more colored pencil work this year because
Ooh.
I love doing my
Mhm.
colored pencil work, but I've learned that like you definitely have to balance it or else they're just going to sit there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, that for sure.
mhm.
And then even for your color pencil work,
Mhm.
um, do you have a specific techniques that you've learned,
Um
or do you just go at it and hack at it?
So like what I like to do, I don't know if it's like I mean it probably is a specific technique, but I don't know like the name of it or anything,
Mhm.
but What I do is I kind of if I do a lot of most of my colored pencil stuff, it's gonna have some type of like human anatomy in it. So whether that's like a part of the body or like a portrait or something like that. But what I like to do is I like will color block the main parts of the like the skin or something like that. So I'll do like the highlights and just kind of shade that, and then do like the shadows and shade that. So it kind of looks like it's just blocks of colors like that, and then I'll go in and start blending it all and like adding the because everyone has different like undertones. Like some skin colors have blue undertones, some have red, and so then
Yeah.
after that I go in and add like the actual color, and then it all blend it all together. And
I like that.
yeah,
A lot of layering
yeah,
and stuff.
that one is definitely a lot. For me, it's a lot more layering as opposed to like my acrylic stuff, because obviously like paint's more easier, or it's easier to blend as opposed to like just a pencil.
Yeah.
But
And do you have like specific color pencils that you use?
I love the Prismacolor colored pencils. I know that's like a big fan.
Prismacolor, sponsor us. We're saying your name at least twice.
I know. No, and
those are really cool.
those are
I
the
like
best.
How, yeah.
I've tried other ones too, and those are the ones that like it just they blend so nice. And
Yeah. Have you tried is it Faber Castell or something like that?
oh, I have some of their like graphite pencils, but
Yeah.
do they make colored pencils?
They
too?
do. They do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have no idea how good they are, but
Yeah, I have no
but
idea.
Just
I
stick with Prisma.
I've
Prisma,
seen
please.
I've
Yeah.
seen I've seen them, and they're kind of on the pricey side, so I'm pretty
Mm.
sure they're okay. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they're good because they're pricey. But Prismacolors also my go-to.
Yeah,
And
those are the best.
and then with that, like the color pencils, have you ever used like soft pastels or oil pastels?
Yeah, I've done a little bit with oil pastels, but I've never done like any of my like official artwork in that. It's usually more in like my sketchbook, or if like I just need to doodle or something like that. I've
Mhm.
never actually I've wanted to, cuz there's this artist I follow on TikTok, and he does like amazing, really kind of funky portraits with oil pastels, and I'm like, "Oh, I want to try that." Like they're those are so cool, but I've never like done like an official artwork with those.
Yeah, because I love oil pastels. That they are, again, it's they're fun to work with, great to blend with,
Mhm.
but yeah, they can get a little bit on the, if you're not careful, you can muck up like some of
Oh yeah.
the shading and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, those are pretty cool. And then how would you describe your artwork? Like what
Um
styles or what inspirations is like if the easiest thing I think would be like what movie would your artwork live in?
what movie would it
Mhm.
live in?
Yeah.
I think my artwork would be in like Alice in Wonderland, because I just love that everything, it's like surreal. I would say my artwork's like more surrealist, if anything, because what I have been really enjoying is I like doing human bodies, but then instead of like a head, it'll be like the head of a flower. So that I really love doing that kind of stuff, kind of like whimsical. I've been told it looks like witchy kind of. I just like things that look really beautiful and not really like from this world, because I think there's a lot of I get a lot of inspiration from like nature and stuff like that, and I think there's a lot of beauty in nature, and I think there's also a lot of beauty in humans, but I just like to kind of combine the two and accentuate that.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, Alice in Wonderland for sure, I think.
Which one?
The original, the
The
cartoon, like
cartoon,
yeah.
the 19 when was that?
1955.
50s?
Oh, really?
I think so.
Yeah,
It's
the
old.
old one.
It's old.
No, and I love the scene of the flower. I know they're mean to Alice, but I love the scene of the flowers when they're like singing and
Yes.
stuff. Like
Yes.
that scene especially. And I know this is kind of random, but I think it's when Alice is like lost or something, and there's like these butterflies, but their wings are made of toast and butter. And
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
just love like play on words like that.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that movie's
I
for
can
sure.
believe that. And do you have You mentioned you're gonna do a large 30 by 40 piece.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the subject is gonna be for that one?
Yeah, so I actually started doing it in December, like early December, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll finish it." But like holidays and
It's been a whole year since you've
been
Yeah.
touched
yeah.
back on that.
Yeah, you haven't touched it since last year.
I know, but it was kind of December was kind of chaotic. I wasn't really home a lot, so I wasn't able to like finish it. But so I think it's actually perfect though that I didn't finish it because it's the subject that I'm focusing on for is like rebirth, and I think that's like a perfect word for like the new year and stuff. And then I actually had a dream a couple days ago about, or I looked at the symbolism of it, and it was like, oh, it's like you're being rebirthed, and I was like, oh, that's so crazy that I had that dream, and like that's what this painting is, or like the subject is. But I'm doing another one of the like flower. I call them like the flower heads. So because I want to do more of that this year because I think they're different, and I love doing that. I just love painting flowers. So yeah, the subject of this one is more about rebirth and
Okay.
yeah.
So, question
Mm-hmm.
again, because it's one of those things where I notice a lot of little. So the symbolism was being rebirth or being reborn.
Rebirth, I think.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm trying to,
Or
because wouldn't it be for whoever has the English major?
oh, is it
Like,
reborn?
I don't know, because rebirth is you're being born again, right?
Yeah. So would it just be reborn then? Or would it
Yeah,
be reborn?
that's why I'm like,
Being
I don't know what the
reborn.
tenses are.
Well, no, I've seen rebirth. I've seen like
Yeah.
that's like a word, but
They're both
Yeah.
correct.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like
but
we're
I'm
artists.
just-
I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, to me, like,
We were drawing in English
We
class.
are
so
yeah,
give us
yeah.
a
I'm
break.
like I
I'm
wasn't
like-
paying attention.
Yeah.
so
Give us a break.
yeah, like we are rebirth and I was reborn.
I think they're interchangeable, right?
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think rebirth,
That bird has something to say about it.
reborn. I think if you're talking about like a singular thing, like oh they have been reborn, or I think maybe like I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's what
I
I'm
don't
like.
know.
I'm like, when you said, I was like, wait a minute.
Well, it's about being reborn.
It's
then.
about being
Yeah.
born again.
born again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason
yeah,
born.
Yeah, because you wouldn't
Jason
say
born.
it's all about being birthed again.
Birthed again.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's like
I'm like I actually enjoyed
not,
English in high
he's
school.
not
so-
right.
I'm like,
He's not
I'm
right.
probably not right.
No, and I think you're right. I think you're right. I know
Sure.
rebirth is a word, but maybe I meant to say reborn.
No,
Yeah.
I think you were correct.
Yeah.
Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like
we'll never know.
We'll never know. Somebody in the comments, please.
It sounds fancier
Rebirth.
about
Yeah.
subject
Yeah.
rebirth.
It does sound a little bit fancier. But with that conundrum in mind, we'll switch over to the quick and A.
Okay.
Are you ready for some quick answers?
So do I answer them quick?
Super quick.
As quick as you can.
Okay.
They are pretty simple.
Okay.
It's not like like what's 200 divided by like 10,000 or something like that. No.
I was horrible in math, so I would not give you
That's
that.
why we don't have those in the thing.
Yes.
But yeah, we always start off with some that we always do to get the ball rolling.
Okay.
And then we could go from there. Are
Okay.
you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready? Are you nervous?
I am nervous because I have a hard time making up my mind, but I'm ready.
Yeah, a lot of these are like one or the other. kind of
Okay,
thing.
I got it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So, pen or pencil?
To write or to draw? Oh,
Pen or pencil?
pen.
Pen, ballpoint, gel pen, or fountain pen? Ooh,
Ballpoint.
Ballpoint.
Mhm.
Why?
I like how they write.
How
Like
dare.
there's
And I like to draw with ballpoint.
Yeah, they're great to draw.
Mhm.
Favorite medium,
acrylic paint.
favorite shape.
Favorite shape? A heart.
Ooh, I don't think we've had a heart before. Anatomical or the cartoony?
The cartoony.
The
I like the
cartoon,
cartoon.
I can do. Do you finish a sketchbook or just buy another one?
I just buy another one.
Right now they're on sale at Blick, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh.
RGB or CMYK?
RGB.
Why?
because well, I
Mm.
just like RG. I like RGB. I
You,
think.
you don't like printing things?
It's like because you gave me those two choices and
Yeah.
I just had to pick
Yeah,
one.
one or the other. Crayola or rose art?
Crayola.
Do you know what rose art is?
I think I actually don't. I don't think I don't think I
Have you
do.
ever been to a Denny's and they give you like the super cheap?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's what rose
the
art is.
colored
Yeah,
candle
most of them
wax.
were rose
Oh,
art.
then
Yeah.
Crayola.
Yeah,
Crayola.
there's essentially it's just dyed candle wax for the most part. Chess or checkers?
Checkers.
Checkers.
Mhm.
Okay. Favorite store?
To shop at or probably
Any
like
store.
any store.
Any store.
Favorite store. Oh my gosh.
Even ones that you haven't been to.
Even
Yeah.
that I've never been to.
Yeah.
Whatever
Oh,
store.
I really like box lunch. I really like box lunch.
Please sponsor us, please. Thank you.
That would be cool.
Do you paint standing up or sitting down?
Sitting down.
What would be your most used color?
Ooh, white.
Like
Titanium white.
titanium?
Yeah.
I can do that. What is your favorite old master, if you have one?
Old master. Would you consider Frida Kahlo an old master? Then her for sure.
Yeah. Top song that you've been listening to?
I really love. There's this song called "I'm Baby" by, I think you pronounce it Ombre or Ambre. That was like my #1 song last year. It said, and then anything Summer Walker, SZA, Kehlani.
I can do that.
Yeah, anything by them.
And favorite show that you're obsessed with?
I really love Desperate Housewives. Have you guys seen that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that show. It's just cute, like in the back. Or, I've been watching Jujutsu Kaisen right now,
Ooh.
which I really. That's the only anime that I've actually like sat and watched through, and it's insane. I love that
So
one.
cool.
Yeah,
And choice of drink when you're painting?
water.
Water?
Yeah, I have like a big hydro flask, and I always bring that with me.
Still or sparkling?
Still, just like our Brita.
Room temperature, ice, or hot?
Ice. I like a lot of ice.
It's got to be room temperature.
I know. I heard that's better for you.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah.
No, someone told me that if you put ice in your water, they're like, "Oh, you're freezing your organs." I'm like, relax.
Like perfect.
Well,
Relax.
I'm not chugging the ice ball.
I know,
Like,
right? I'm like, calm down.
It's just cold. It's chill. This one's always fun. Round, flat, bright, filbert, mop, liner, or fan brush?
Oh, flat.
Flat.
I like a flat. Yeah.
You like a flat? I can do that. Yeah, which is the one that most people hate. They don't like the chubby one.
The mop brush? They hate it?
No,
Why?
the I think it was the bright the thin
The little the
little
mini
itty bit.
the mini flat.
Yeah, the mini flat.
That's the bright brush, the mini flat.
Flats are cool. I do like flats. They're super long. I like the filberts though.
The which ones?
Filbert.
Filbert?
Yeah, you know which one the filbert is.
I don't. Oh,
It's like the
those
flat
ones?
with a rounded top.
Oh.
If you had a flat for a while, it turns into a filbert.
Oh no, yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I like. It's like all
Yeah.
hard and stuff.
Mhm.
Pretty much. And then for some of our last ones, favorite vegetable.
Vegetable. Probably Brussels sprouts. I really like roasted Brussels sprouts.
Ooh,
I love
Yeah,
those.
with some parm on top.
Or
Yes.
my mom would put like balsamic vinegar on
Yeah,
them.
I can
Really
see
good,
that.
really good.
And then, speaking of food, what food would you pair with your painting?
What food
what
would I
would be a good
pair with my
pairing?
paintings? Um, ooh, oh my goodness. Probably like I only say this because I have a lot of like plants in my paintings, so maybe like a salad or something, but like a really like colorful salad, with a bunch of the ones with like strawberries and stuff in
Okay.
it. Probably something like that.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a Cobb salad.
No,
Or Caesar
no. Or
salad.
maybe like those like donuts that have like the cereal on them or something. Like maybe
Ooh.
something like
Ooh.
yes,
Oh,
I
something
think
from Voodoo Donut.
yeah. Voodoo
Do-
donut.
Sponsor us.
Voodoo donut, Prismacolor,
Yes.
box lunch.
Money,
Sponsor us.
me money.
Water.
now. Water.
Whatever water company.
Yeah. Aquafina.
Smart water.
No,
Fiji.
no, it's all about liquid death.
Liquid
Have you
death.
had their water?
I had it at a festival for the first time. Like it was like
It's-
last year, and I
it's
was
so
like,
good.
"What?" I was like, "This looks like a beer."
Did you
Like,
have their still water or their sparkling water?
I think we just had their still water.
Okay, yeah, this
so
is
good.
tasty.
It's
Yeah.
weird to drink it out of a can, but I think it definitely
Yeah,
tastes better.
and
out
I
of a can.
like it because, like, if you're at a party and people are like, "Oh, you're not drinking," like it kind of looks like
It's
you
like,
have a
yes, I
beer.
am.
Yeah, I'm like, "Look,
Boom,
there's
water.
a beer,"
Yeah.
but it's just water.
It's unfermented beer.
Yeah.
It's one of the ingredients
Yeah.
for the beer, but
Their flavored sparkling water is pretty tasty.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
yeah.
I've never had that.
they have a lemon lime one, which is pretty good.
Ooh.
I think my favorite right now is their mango one,
Ooh, that sounds good.
but their wild berry flavors. So many good ones.
Mm.
So please sponsor us
Liquid
if you
death.
can.
Liquid
And
death.
but yeah, thank you. That was the quick and A.
Thank you. That was
So,
fun. That was fun.
Hopefully you enjoyed the questions. They all get
did.
graded though.
Oh.
So, the audience members, please, in the comments below, if you can, give her a grade. What do you think? And I would say like a C plus.
A C plus? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take it. That's passing.
Yeah,
I'll take it. I've never been good at tests.
yeah. Mainly because of the flat, and then you said RGB over CMYK, and I'm like, RGB is good. I work with RGB a lot, but CMYK, it's more technical because the colors that you're using are the colors that you'll see in an actual product.
Yeah. I think it's because, like, when I was in school, I went to school for graphic design, and, like, they told us a lot. They were like, oh, RGB, and I was like,
Well, yeah, because everything is gonna live on the computer.
yeah, so I think that's why I was kind of like, oh, RGB.
Mhm.
You gotta switch because again, you're doing paintings,
Yeah.
and if you're gonna do prints of your paintings, you have to
Should do
match the color
CMYK.
signs to be CMYK. So when you're printing, there is no color shift.
Oh, that makes sense because I have one artwork where it's like super bright and I got it printed and it's like a little dull than what it looks like in real life. So Maybe
it's
that's
that
why.
color shift. Yeah,
I gotta
it's
do
that
that.
color shift. That's the only reason why.
Got me.
Yeah. And but yeah, thank you for being a part of that. So we'll do a quick little commercial break and then we'll be right back. Welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed the ad and you buy whatever it is that they say because it does support the channel. I made up my own ad for the merch that we have. We were gonna have merch as well, by the way. If you didn't.
Ooh.
But yeah, support the channel. But yeah, we're here. We're chilling. We're vibing, and we were talking about just random things and film and the sun and how important the sun is.
That is very important.
And how it's impossible to move whenever you want it to move.
I think that people don't realize, like, aside from like being creative, like the sun is very healthy, like for us. So like my boyfriend, he goes outside every morning and he lets the sun hit him for like 10 minutes. Yeah. And like, I don't, have you guys
Is he
ever?
a lizard?
Yeah. I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, but do you guys know Andrew Huberman of that podcast?
Not me.
I only learned of him like recently, but I think he's a professor at Stanford, and then I forget what he has like his credentials in, but he said that getting like direct sunlight, like the sun hitting your skin for 10 minutes a day, your mood is like improved instantly.
Oh, no
And so-
wonder
yeah, and
these
it wakes you
podcasts are
up.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Yeah.
we're like direct under the
Well,
sun.
we do have a little bit of shade, mainly because of the video. It's but yeah, no, and hopefully with sunscreen,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
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 I don't have sunscreen. It's hitting me.
I think no, as long as you have sunscreen on your face, then you're free from wrinkles.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you're free from skin cancer. Yeah, look protect.
Yeah,
Maybe I
that's what
should
your melanin's for too.
Maybe I should
Well,
start putting sunscreen on.
I know for us because we're a little bit on the little Latino side over there, but yeah, always wear sunscreen, even when you're asleep. I'm just kidding.
PSA.
That was that camera. Speaking of cameras, hello and welcome back. And, oh wait, I already said that. But yeah, we were just chit chatting and whatnot, and going back into the art and whatnot since
Mhm.
the podcast is for. If you didn't notice, we always ask especially a new artist that we've meet, um where do you think you are right now in your artist journey, and what are your plans for the next step?
So I definitely would consider myself a new and emerging artist, considering I've only been taking or doing this seriously in August is when I started. So yeah, I think I'm still learning a lot about like how to move in this industry and like the right galleries to go to, the right people to talk to, and um yeah, and as for next steps, I think like my main focus right now is I set some goals for myself. I want to do at least one painting or one drawing a month. So then, like, by the end of this year, I'll have at least 12, which am aiming for more, but I also know that life happens and I want to make a goal that's like attainable for myself. And so, yeah, that. And I also have some upcoming shows in different states that I'm super excited for. Yeah, I have one in New York coming up in May, and then one I'll be in Miami in June. So I think just kind of I love the LA art scene and all the people I've met here, and like even in Long Beach, there's like a great community. But I think for my next steps, I know a lot of like what I consider great artists, they have traveled in some way. And so I think traveling, even in just like within the US, like New York is so different compared to California. And so I think just traveling to other states, even eventually countries, but you know, gotta start somewhere.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I think even just traveling to other cities and states, that those are my next steps because I want to create new relationships in other parts of the world and
Yeah.
meet new people because what's cool in the LA or what's here in the LA art scene is going to be different as opposed to like Miami or Houston or New York or something like that. So, yeah, travel and make more art.
I can dig that.
Yeah.
And in your like you like you mentioned since August, so it's been a short journey thus far.
Mhm.
Have you ever faced any challenges that you had to overcome, and like how do you deal with those challenges?
Yes. So during COVID, I was making a lot of art like over the summer in between semesters from school and stuff. And that was great, and I got a lot of support from people because I had to move back to my hometown, and so I got a lot of support there, which was awesome. And but I think one of the biggest challenges that I've faced, and I think a lot of artists have faced at one point or another, is like that art block, that creative block. I had an art block for like probably like a year, and it made me feel really depressed and kind of like I didn't know if this was like the path that I should go down type of thing because I was like, well, if I can't get like I tried creating and everything that I made, I was just like, this sucks and this is not what I know I can do.
Mhm.
And it was just really discouraging. And during that time, I didn't have a lot of other artists like around me. And so, like, I'm the only artist out of my friends and stuff like that, like my immediate, like, close group of friends and stuff. So, I think it was like a struggle that I kind of had to face like on my own, and it's really discouraging, kind of like repeating that in your head, like, oh, is this what I'm really supposed to
Yeah.
do? And like, am I actually good at this, or are people just saying that because they care about me, you know? And so, that was definitely like a big struggle, and eventually I got out of that, and that's when I finally started doing the art that was like purely from my imagination, like my Bird of Paradise one. I don't know if you guys have seen on like my social media or not, but that was like the first artwork that I made where I'm like, no, this is like all from my thoughts. Like I had photo references obviously, but like that was all something that I made. It wasn't just like a portrait of some singer or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think once I started doing that, that's when I got out of it. But yeah, it was only rough because it was so long. I never had an art block that long, like a year. So that was probably something that I was
Yeah.
going through.
Yeah, cause a year, that is definitely a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like doing art for yourself is key.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously you can be artistic, do commissions, do work for a client, but that art isn't really for you.
Yeah.
It's for work. It's for them.
Yeah. Because when I was doing commissions, yeah, I was getting a lot of money, but I was also like, I felt burnt out. And I also was like, I don't want to I don't want to paint. And once I started feeling that, like, I don't want to paint or draw, I was like, oh, that's kind of like scary because I don't want to do the thing that this is my job. And so
Yeah.
I was like, so I stopped doing those, and I don't think I'll go back to those. I mean, maybe in the future, but I think at this point I'm just trying to get my name out there and trying to like build my own portfolio
Yeah.
and my own like recognizable work, and then maybe I'll go back to doing like a few commissions or something.
I can dig that.
Mhm.
And now that you're out of that block, um, what what do you do, or what inspires you to keep that motivation to continue?
So what I've done now, I probably could have done this back then, but I don't think I knew like how to navigate it. But now what I do is, even like there's some days where you don't feel like, you're just tired, you don't feel like painting and stuff. But what I like to do is, I have my sketchbook, and I used to want to make my sketchbook look all fancy and nice, like nice drawings in there. But now it's kind of used as more like, okay, even if I just like scribble all over this page, at least I'm drawing something. Like, no one's gonna see this, it's just for me. But I think even just doing a doodle or something like that every single day, then it's like you're still using your mind, you're still doing that like creative process. And that's what's helped me a lot, because I think now that I've come to terms, like, no, not everything has to be a masterpiece,
Yeah.
Like, I think just getting scribbles, like little drawings like that, no one's gonna they could I have hideous drawings in my sketchbook that I'm like, nope, this is just for me. I drew today. That's an accomplishment.
Mm.
And that's helped me from not getting into another like artist block or
Yeah. And I feel like that is good practice.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like everything, art in particular, it's like you may be born with the talent, but if you don't practice, it goes
Yeah.
away.
No, exactly. And that's with anything too, I
Yeah.
think.
And so that's a good tip. Just doodle.
Yeah, I'm like, even if it's like the ugliest thing you've ever made, like I've got like some funky looking people in my sketchbook, but and then I'm like, oh, maybe it turns out good, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, there's a style that I've never tried before, and now that could turn into something else. So
Yeah, that's why it's called a sketchbook, not a complete
Yeah.
drawing
Yeah.
book.
It's not a
It's
masterpiece.
not-
it's not a
complete drawing
yeah,
masterpiece
because
book.
I used to like, if I didn't like the sketch I was doing, I would tear it out of my sketchbook because I wanted because I'm like, oh, what if someone looks at this? But now I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't care anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, this is for me. If someone looks at it, yeah, I made this ugly thing, but whatever,
It's
you know.
part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, and like you said, like you might look into a sketchbook or into a sketch and be like, you know what? Like I can tweak this, I can do that to that sketch and be like, put it onto a piece.
Mm-hmm.
It, and I know we talked a little bit about the ugly process of the sketches. It has to be ugly before it becomes
Yeah.
something better, and like a lot of those you can get good ideas from,
Mm-hmm.
and even having like looking through old sketchbooks, be like, oh, I drew that. Like that's actually pretty cool because like
Yeah.
I could implement like that, either that symbolism or that style or
Mhm.
that subject into a new piece. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I agree.
So how many sketchbooks do you have?
So I have two right now. I have one that like there's only like 3 pages left in it, and I was like, I was so proud of myself because I was like, this is like almost finished. This is pretty much done. And so I think like I have a lot of things that I like in there, and then I have a lot of like ugly drawings, and I think but I think even like with the ugly drawings, I just look through it and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. This is like it's just all filled and it just looks cool. And so and
Yeah.
now I have a new one that I just got and it's more of it's like a so I had like the normal I don't know what size that is. It's like a
5x8.
yeah, I think it's like a 5. That was that one, and now I have I think it's like 8.5 by 11, and yeah. So now I have it's a paperback one too because I had a hardcover one, and I was like, oh, let me switch it up. And
Yeah.
but my favorite type of sketchbook is the crescent render is what it's called. And they're awesome because you could literally use like spray paint on it and it will not bleed through.
Ooh.
Like I've used so many things that should bleed through like a paper, but it will not bleed through.
So it's a mixed medium.
Yeah, it's a
A
mixed
mixed medium.
medium one, yeah.
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, those are some of my favorite. Like I usually get the Strathmore mixed media or the Canson mixed media
Mm.
most of the time because you'll find them like, oh, buy two get one free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need new sketchbooks, but I'm buying them because they're on
I
sale.
know.
And specifically the mixed media one because I would like either use it for notes or use a Sharpie for sketches or
Mhm.
use the um what are the
Copic markers.
the Copic markers.
Oh, I love those.
And those are great, but they can easily bleed through a lot of it.
Mm.
And those are the only ones that you can get close to bleeding through with the Copic markers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the ink is amazing.
Yeah.
And but if you go a little bit too much, it releases a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still amazing. Because you could do like Polska markers, you could use the Molotov on it, and they don't bleed through.
No, I love
Yeah.
acrylic markers. Those are awesome. But no, you should check out the crescent render because
Alright.
those they don't. I was amazed. I was taken aback. Like they do not bleed through. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah, I'll definitely. Good excuse to get more.
Yeah,
More
get another
sketchbooks.
sketchbook.
Also, sponsors, please. Thank you. And with that, with the sketching and the forming of ideas, like do you how do you pick your color palette? Like you pick your subject, you know
Mhm.
what the idea is gonna be, but do you have a specific way to pick a color palette, or does the colors like automatically pop in when you have an idea?
It kind of depends on I think for most of my paintings, I like doing a lot of skies in the like as the background. So I kind of base the color palette on like what the sky is gonna look like because I have some that's like it's like a morning sky, and then a lot of them are more like sunsets. And so I think I kind of base it around there because the sky has so many different colors. There's
Yeah.
like this bright blue that it is right now, or like the sunset, it's like orange, pink, purple.
Mm-hmm.
And then my painting I'm working on right now, I'm finally doing like a nighttime sky. I've never done like a night sky. So I kind of base it off that. And then I really like um, the color wheel, the like complementary colors, triadic, like that kind of color schemes. And so I use those as like references, but yeah, I think I get a lot of my color palettes from like what my sky will look like in the
Yeah.
back, and then just kind of base it around that.
Okay.
hmm
And do you ever use like specific colors for specific emotions, or do you just go based on just the sunset?
Um, I think I do that unintentionally because I have my Bird of Paradise one, and it's more it's that painting was all about like the subject was how to raise your frequency, and so that was a little bit more like more positive, and it's you could tell kind of in the painting it's like orange and blue and stuff. But then I have this other one, it's a heart painting and there's flowers coming out of it, and that painting like was dealt with the subject of grief, and there was a lot of like darker purples and blues and dark reds and stuff like that. And so that was a little bit more, you could tell that the painting was a little bit more like melancholic. And so I think I do it unintentionally, but I would say that my paintings, like you can tell that there's a like a certain type of emotion within them.
I can do that.
Hmm.
And do you blend your own colors, like when you're using or do you have like a large array of colors already?
No, I blend my own colors. I'd say I have a pretty good collection of colors, but like they all of my paints fit in this like 8.5 by 11 little bin like that I have. But like if I want like a certain type of blue, then I sometimes will go and buy, like I have this one color. It's a quinacridone magenta, and it's like it's specific. If you add white, it becomes like a hot pink. And it's like
Ooh.
I've always had a really hard time trying to blend and make my own hot pink. So like things like that, yeah. But most of the time I'll blend my own colors, and I just have like red, orange, yellow, blue, green, purple, and then white.
Yeah.
But
And then do you cuz you said actually when you're painting, you have a studio where you have you'll be there for a couple hours.
mhm.
Do you do the whole routine of like having your colors, a giant palette, Bob Ross style as you're painting, or do you just have something more minimal and like, oh, I'm gonna work for a couple hours on this painting with these specific colors because I'm gonna
Mhm.
fill this specific section.
Yeah, so I mean like since I don't have a whole lot of colors, I'm like able to bring all of them. But yeah, when I work, I usually do like I I'll usually go in and do like one section of, or like one part of it. So like when I first started this one that I'm working on right now, I did the whole sky. And so like I'll only use like the colors that I need for the
Mm-hmm.
sky. But and then like the flower, like when I paint the flower, I only have like those certain colors. But yeah, so I usually only work on it like different, or a section of the painting at one time, because then I feel like it also, when you're sitting there and you're working on your painting and it all kind of just starts to like blend together, like you kind of need to like step back, because
Yeah.
then you either like don't like it, or it's just you can't really, you know something's wrong but you can't really tell what it is. So that's also kind of why I only work on it in pieces. I think I learned that in school too. They, like my painting classes, they taught us like no, take a break, step back, look at it, figure out what you need. But
Yeah, yeah, because that having that patience, because yeah, if you're there painting, you're looking at it from like 3 inches, 6 inches
yeah,
away,
yeah,
and stepping back definitely helps.
mhm,
But yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. And so you don't have a Bob Ross palette, like huge. I kind of want to get one
And
though.
then artist beret, and then
Yeah,
use a super long handled paintbrush,
Yeah, and then
and
no,
then
I'm usually in like sweats and my hair is like in a bun or something.
I
But
know.
I actually, the palettes, I prefer. Have you guys seen it's like a paper pad? And
yeah,
yeah, I love
yeah.
using those because I can just make it as messy as I want, and then I just throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
But I like using those personally.
Yeah, I think I have another artist friend that he'll have a palette and then he'll work on it and then he'll just let it dry
Mm.
and then he'll just once it's completely dry and he's gonna use it again, he just puts paint on top of it
Oh
again
yeah, I've done that before.
and then so all the different layers and
Yeah.
like it looks cool
Mhm.
and it's very satisfying because I think he uses glass
Oh.
so to like scrape it off
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
to clean it
Yeah.
like just you can either warm up the glass a little bit with hot water and then just scrape it off
Oh.
and then
Oh,
you
that's
see all the
cool.
ribbons of all the different colors that
That's really cool. He should frame that, and like if someone buys the original,
uh,
like, oh, you
yeah
get this
yeah
palette.
here you have a used palette
Yeah.
yeah
No,
like oh where did you get the glass like yeah from a frame that I took the glass from
there's a artist in UK that she works with oil paints,
Mhm.
and she had this giant like exhibition for her stuff in some fancy hotel or whatever. But she also works in giant canvases, like 4x5, 4x6 big
Oh.
pieces. And then sometimes on some of the pieces underneath the painting, she either has like the brush that she used that is all painted and messed up and all that
Oh, that's cool.
with a bunch of like oil paint residue. Also, like in the little frame underneath each painting.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, just to show like to have the piece plus the brush that was worked on
That's
it.
really
That is
cool.
really
Yeah, and it
cool.
looks
Yeah.
super fancy. I think she also has um uh 2 or 3 palettes for the show that it's all dried oil paint, and
Oh,
then also framed with like the 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 palettes for the show or
that's
whatever.
really cool.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's very artsy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is very not just artsy, but like it's a good way for the collector to get a glimpse of the struggle of the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, seeing the like, okay, so that's the tool that you use to make the masterpiece type of
Yeah.
thing.
That's really
I-
cool.
I've had an idea of something similar to that, um, if it can be considered similar, but because when I do a lot of film photography,
Hmm.
like I want to be able to obviously print the large the large photograph, and then on the side of it have like a little backlit box, and
Oh,
then
okay.
have the actual um film there, so they can
Oh.
see the film, you know, what it looks like, and then
Oh.
that's the final, you
That's
know.
really cool.
And then like if somebody wants to buy the film itself, it'll be
Hmm.
like X amount,
Hmm.
or if they want to buy the print and the film or whatever. Because you know, similar to I think when they did Oppenheimer,
Hmm.
they were if you were you can buy a ticket, and then they'll give you one slice of the film,
Oh, no way.
like one frame
Uh-huh.
from the movie, because they shot everything on
I
film.
was gonna say
Yeah,
I didn't know they shot everything on film like
they
that.
shot everything on film, so they have like, you know, if it's a 2 hour movie, is like every second is 20 yeah, it's 24 frames, so you
Oh,
multiply that, so you
dang.
have like a million frames or something like, well,
That's really cool. Oh
but
my gosh. No, I know Euphoria also shot on film like their second season, but they weren't giving it out. I don't think that's
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
but yeah, and yeah, because that's really because it gives you again a glimpse of the behind the scenes, you know,
Mhm.
of like the palette, the messiness, the chaos
Yeah.
of the art.
No, cuz I think a lot of people forget like yeah, movies are a big part of pop culture, but I think people forget like these are also like this is art also. Like these are artists that are working on this movie
Yeah,
that are making this movie, even the actors like those are artists and I think a lot of people forget that.
yeah, yeah, and I love film. I love working on film, writing, and all that.
Mhm.
So when I see that, when like, oh, you can get a little piece of it,
That's really
really cool.
cool.
Like the artist getting a little piece of the, uh, you know, seeing the brush, seeing the palette,
Yeah.
and even here when we do like an open gallery shows, like we don't make the entire show look fancy and all great.
Mhm.
You know, we reserve that for other shows, but when we do an open gallery show, it's like this is the chaos. Like, if you want to look through the paintings, they're racked up. You
Yeah.
know, they're all wrapped up, and you can shuffle through them. And like these are the unfinished ones.
Mhm.
These are the work in progress. Like that's the pile that nobody talks about. Like nobody talks about that pile.
Yeah.
And then like with paint everywhere, or like so people can see the studio as an actual studio.
Mhm.
Like not trying to make it look all super fancy. Like, no,
Yeah.
this is what happens every day.
I was saying that's more real too. Like that's more like yeah, we're not always it's not as organized as like if you
Yeah.
go into like a museum or gallery or something like that.
There's I think Long Beach has a thing that they do. I don't know how often they do it. I got invited, but I don't live in Long Beach, so I couldn't partake. But it's a Long Beach studio tour.
Oh,
Mm.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where a whole bunch of like artists from Long Beach, they on that same day or that weekend, they all open their studios to the public, and they have like little shows at their own studio, and then people can go like from art studio to art studio, like looking and buying artwork.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. That they just did that recently too.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, we got a few friends that partake in that
Oh,
in that
nice.
tour, or that open their doors. I think there's another like group of artists that for the open studio tour. It's because they all have like they all pitch in for a studio. So it's the three artists, they showcase their artwork there,
Oh,
which
that's
is
really
which is pretty cool.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Too bad we're not from Long Beach to be part of the tour.
Dang.
Yeah, we've told them like, yeah, you can say this is north
North Long Beach.
Very
Long
north
Beach.
Long
Hey,
Beach.
it wasn't that far. I live in Long Beach.
20
Took me 20 minutes to
yeah.
get here.
Yeah.
Like,
we're
not that
20
bad.
minutes Long Beach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad, not bad.
Yeah, because I think there's been a couple artists that they'll even just if they don't have like a dedicated studio, like just open their living room or to showcase the art, or if they have a front yard or a backyard, and because for the most part you just want to show your work,
Yeah.
you know, and that's one of the reasons why even for us it's like why we started Lorano Gallery. Like it started during COVID. There weren't any shows happening. There
Yeah.
weren't any galleries being open. And so we were like, well, we have the space. Like we can invite a couple people over, 6 feet apart, mask,
Yeah.
whatever, to show the art, and we can have the backyard so they don't have to go inside. It could be just in the backyard. And then I took that concept even further. It's like, okay, well, now that everything is a little bit more open, why not just do it?
Yeah.
When we don't have a show booked, like if we don't have a show booked in a month, then like, okay, cool, we'll just put a show there. Because why not?
Yeah.
It's like if we don't have work, we'll find work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I know that during that time, like, it was February 2020 was my first like art show, like public art show, and then COVID happened, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of artists like kind of not rely on shows, but like that's a big part of like,
It's a very big part.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and even if you don't rely on shows, you should, because like your art, it may look good on your phone, but the collector can't really see the detail. They can't see how it shimmers in an actual setting. Like most collectors, especially for the larger works, like they want to see it in person.
yeah.
They kind of need to see it in person.
Yeah, and it just looks like you said. It looks better in person
It
too.
looks-
Like you can only see so much on a screen. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Like you can zoom in so much, then it gets pixelated, and then
Yeah.
what's the point? But
Yeah.
versus if you're in real life and you can get a magnifying glass and actually see it, the details.
They order the painting online and they're disappointed that it's not as pixelated as they saw. It's like,
it's like,
oh,
oh.
I was hoping it was pixelated.
Yeah.
It's too defined.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That would be pretty funny. But yeah, and that's why we started Lorana Gallery, and then from there, like we hit up Smog City, and they allowed us to do shows there. So like, okay, cool. Now we can invite more artists to
Yeah.
participate. Because here we would do maybe 4, 5 artists, and then we can only invite maybe up to like 50-ish people. 'cause
Yeah.
for the space, for parking, whatever. But Smog City is like we can have 100, 200 people.
well, and then it's like you also have people who like maybe didn't know that there was a show, and then they see that and they're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like that's even more exposure.
And we also don't have to worry about also catering the event
Yeah.
and getting the foods, getting the drinks, getting the blah blah blah. Like, okay,
Mhm.
cool. You want food? Food
It's
truck
over
right there. You want a beer? Beer's over there.
Yeah.
And it made it easier for us to be able to showcase other people's artwork. Because again, that's one of the biggest things that I always tell artists is like, if you can't find a show, like, open up your house. Like,
Yeah.
like you have the paintings with you.
Well,
Like,
and social media is so big now. It's like you can advertise it
Mm-hmm.
yourself if you really wanted to.
yeah, and even to just get it started, invite your friends, and
Mm-hmm.
then have your friends invite their friends that you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that way it's a new crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, if you invite your friends and then you tell them invite friends, they'll invite friends that you already invited.
Yeah.
Like invite people, or invite your coworkers.
Yeah.
Or to have it, um, you know, to put it lightly, like similar to a pyramid scheme. Like you invite, you tell them to invite two more people, and then those two
Yeah.
more people tell them to invite more. But again, that way you get more people to show up
Mm-hmm.
that you don't know, because those are the people that are gonna buy. The people that you
Yeah.
don't know, like the people that know you, they're like, oh yeah, I can see it at any time, and like yeah, they'll support. They'll buy prints. They'll buy
Yeah.
paintings, but they can only do so much.
Yeah. And you're also like, if you really are trying to like make it, then it's like, yeah, you want strangers to come and see your work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So and again, ultimately, you want to sell,
Mm-hmm.
and
So you heard that, artist kids? Invite strangers.
Yeah.
invite strangers to your home.
Into your home.
In your home. But only artist kids.
Only no.
You normal kids,
You're
stay away
right.
from strangers.
No, but yeah, no, because like if you can't find a show, make one up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're creating, because it's like otherwise we'd be buying other people's artwork.
Yeah.
It's like you're creating something from nothing. The blank canvas. It's
Mm-hmm.
white. There's nothing there, and you're creating something.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that with a show.
Yeah.
Like you have a home, you have a place. Use your neighbor's garage. Go to the park and tell people like, "Hey, I'm gonna take my paintings to the park. You want
Yeah.
to see them?"
No, I remember when I lived in my hometown, it was the neighboring town from there, and there was this we would always go to Sonic, and I remember this like in high school, and we would always go to Sonic, and like there was this guy that always stood out from the Sonic, like it was so random because it's just like Sonic, like that's the
Mhm.
most random place, but he would stand out there and he had like his drawings in a wagon type thing, and he would go to like the tables and just like talk to people about his drawings. And there's some people that are like, oh thanks, no, like don't
Mhm.
want to be bothered, but I
Yeah.
always thought it was so cool. I'm like, if you really want to make it happen, like you're gonna
Mhm.
find a way
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're that
It's a
determined.
hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hustle, and yeah, because if you're looking for work, you find it.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing's gonna be given to you just because you're thinking about it. Like no,
Yeah.
you have to. If you don't talk about it, no one's gonna hear about it.
Yeah.
If you don't show it, no one's gonna see it.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. And I'm like I'm really into like spirituality and like manifesting, but that like a lot of people don't realize, like, yeah, you can talk to the universe and manifest what you want for yourself, but like in almost every book that I've read on like spirituality, it always says it's like you still have to do some work. Like you can't
Mhm.
just sit there and like, okay, I'm praying to be a successful artist, blah blah. Like,
And
no,
you
you
ju-
still have to put in.
and then you just sit at the couch like hoping
Yeah,
for it to
like
happen.
okay, why hasn't it happened yet? And yeah, it's like no, you still have to work at it, like
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
some way, But
Yeah, and again, yeah, because it is one of those things, like whether you believe in God or not. There
Mhm.
was an illustration that I remember in that vein, where it was a guy that was like uh caught in a river, and he was asking for help. So he was like he fell into a river. He got swept away. He was grabbing onto a branch, and he was praying to God, like, oh, help me, please help me, like I need your help,
Mhm.
right? And then a couple hours passed, and then there was a guy in a boat that passed by, like, hey, like, do you need any help? And the guy's like, no, 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 I'm good. I'm praying to God,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
help. So it's like, okay. And then so he passed by, And then another guy that was walking, down the side of the creek. It was like, hey, like, do you need any help? They're like, no, 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 it's okay. Like, I'm praying to God for help. And so like, okay. And then another guy that was in a helicopter saw him and was like, hey, like, and landed, like, hey, do you need any help? Like, no,
Mhm.
no, no, it's okay. And like, I'm praying to God for help. And and then he was there so long that he got tired, he got swept away, and then passed away.
Mhm.
And then he was in heaven, and he was, telling God, it was like, why didn't you help me? You never came and rescued me.
Mhm.
And God was like, I sent you 3 people. I
Yeah.
sent you a guy in a boat, a guy down the creek,
Mhm.
and a helicopter. It's like,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where it's like, you get things done in a way, like, if you ask for help, don't expect it to be exactly how you want the help to be done.
Mhm.
It's like you get help by other people's offers, other people around you, and you don't notice that that's the help that you need.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to trust, not just in, like, oh, it's gonna get done, the universe is gonna make it for me. It's like,
Mhm.
no, somebody is gonna pass by, like, hey, I like your work. Like, okay, cool. That relationship, maybe
Yeah.
they are a big collector and they want to buy a lot of your work,
Mhm.
or they want to help you start it off, or whatever. So it's like, you still have to do the walk.
Yeah,
You have to look at your surroundings.
exactly.
And,
No, I
nothing
agree.
is gonna be given to you.
Yeah, especially in this field, like
Yeah,
you kind of gotta figure it out and put in the work for it.
yeah.
Like, but
It is, and I feel like that's the thing that burns a lot of people out,
mhm.
is the instant gratification that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's a journey.
Yeah, I know. I kind of not so much like that, but I kind of was like that where I'm like, oh, I'm doing all these things and it just like hasn't like nothing's really working for me. And then now it's like now that I've been learning that and that it's just like no, everything takes time and it's a marathon, not a race or not a sprint. And it a part of like that getting to your like what you want, your desires, your dreams, that destination, like a part of that is learning everything and like the journey to get to that
Yeah,
destination. So,
yeah, yeah. And it is like, you will get help along the way,
mhm.
but you have to walk the path.
Yeah.
If you just stuck at home hoping for the help, it's not gonna happen. So,
Yeah.
like, that journey, like you said, it's a marathon.
Mhm.
And a marathon runner, you know, there's people on the sideline giving you water,
Mhm.
cheering you on. In a sprint, you don't get water in a
Yeah,
sprint.
you got to go as
You
fast as
just
you
go as fast. You don't even
Yeah.
hear the people cheering you on. You
Mhm.
just know the sound of the bell and then you go. But for a marathon, it's like you have support throughout the entire race.
Yeah.
You have people giving you water, giving you drinks, cheering you on. Like, I know, in some of the LA marathons, when it gets really hot, there's sections where they have like water sprinklers,
Mhm.
so you can walk through them and get cooled down. So like, that's the artist's journey. It's
Yeah.
like,
It
don't
really
give
is.
up.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that I think all artists need to understand is like no, don't give up. You just got to keep
You just got to keep going. You don't know, like, who you're gonna bump into that's gonna give you that inspiration,
yeah.
that support,
Mhm.
whether it be emotional or even financial. Like, somebody might just like, oh, like, I love that, I want to buy it. It
Mhm.
could be the piece that you're like, "Ah, no one's gonna watch it, no one's gonna see
Yeah.
it." And we've even had that with a couple artist friends, that they go to they set up their booth, and then they'll take a couple extra paintings or whatever, and then they're like, oh, like this one, I don't really like it, so I'm gonna just put it, underneath the table, whatever.
Mhm.
And a person comes up and like, oh, like, this is, like, they love the artwork, it's great.
Mhm.
And then they notice the other paintings, like, what are those? And they're like, oh, there's some extra ones, like, oh, can I see them?
Yeah.
Like, oh, sure. And like, these are amazing, I want to buy it. And then it's the one that you thought
Yeah, they
nobody was gonna look at.
Yeah.
So and again, that's the help that you don't see. Like
Mhm.
you have to just trust in the universe. You have to just trust yourself.
Yeah.
Just showcase it. Just if somebody likes what you're doing, talk to them.
Yeah.
Have a conversation. If they don't buy anything, don't think of it as like, oh, it's a waste of time. Like, no, you had a good conversation. You are networking, so that person might come back.
Mhm.
If they
For
really like
sure.
your work and they got, your social medias, like they're probably gonna share it. And all of that is very useful
Yeah.
because you don't know who they're gonna talk to about you. And maybe that person is gonna be the one to give you the chance to go higher.
Mhm. No, I and my like on speaking on that too, like my boyfriend's told me a quote that's like, oh, like cuz I used to kind of be like, no, I can't, like I can do it by myself. Like I'm just going to I can do everything like on my own. I was always the type like I didn't want to ask for help. But he told me, he was like, always go into a conversation assuming that person knows something that you don't. And I think that has, especially with like networking and like going to shows and just talking to other people, like now I always go in with that mindset. And I think like I think it was very useful for me at that time, and like now I've just carried that with me. But I think a lot of people, they want to make art because they're like, oh, this will sell, I think, and like this is popular now, so I'm gonna make art because I think other people will like it. But for me now, I was kind of like that too when I was doing like celebrity portraits and all that. I'm like, oh, everyone likes this artist, so I'm gonna paint this artist and then it'll sell. And they did sell, but also I was like, I was burnt out. I wasn't happy with what I was making. It just didn't feel like me. And then now that I'm making stuff for myself, it's just like I'm still selling stuff and I'm way happier doing that. And so a lot of I think a lot of artists like need to learn that as well, like
Yeah.
to make stuff for you,
Yeah.
not, and if people like it, that's awesome, and if people don't, it's like you still made something for you, and that to me is like success, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, it's all about people looking at your work,
Mhm.
whether they like it or they hate it. They look at it.
Yeah, exactly. They
They
still look
saw
at
it.
it. Yeah.
They got a reaction, and and a reaction is still a reaction, whether it be
Yeah.
good or bad. You still impacted them in a way.
Yeah. I think it's like it's, at least for me, like if it's not being talked about at all, or like I'm not getting any questions about this piece, and it's like, oh, then it's kind of, I
Yeah.
at least either want like, oh, I love this, or like, oh, why'd you do this, like kind of a good or bad reaction is, like you said, still a reaction, like
Yeah.
you're still getting people to look at it.
Yeah. And if you don't get a reaction, you're probably in the wrong room
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. Yeah.
Because it is one of those things where, especially for art, if it doesn't fit the gallery, or if it doesn't fit the theme, or whatever, like maybe you don't have to be in that section.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why, like, we talked about, like, even for like Comic Cons and things like that, like we want to do them because we enjoy them,
Mhm.
but we also have to remember that comic conventions or pop culture events may not necessarily be the right room for us
Mhm.
because we're doing original artwork with a character that not that many people know.
Mhm.
So why spend the time to do that when we know that we can go to a gallery and where they focus on originality a little bit more and do better there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all with like research too and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I've also learned there's a lot of research that I have to do on like different galleries, different spaces, and it's a lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
And with that, to kind of like close out the main podcast a
Mhm.
little, like we mentioned, you're still a new artist, a relatively new artist, not
Mhm.
upcoming artist. Like, what tip would you give somebody who is also starting?
Also
Yeah,
starting.
that because obviously you're starting now,
Mhm.
so you probably got good tips from other people.
Yeah.
What would you give them?
So something that I heard fairly recently, it was on the Andrew Huberman podcast that I mentioned earlier. He had Rick Rubin on there, and he's I believe a music producer. But what he said, because they were talking about like the creative process and everything, and what he said really changed and shifted my perspective on like how I'm gonna make art going forward. So what he said, I'm also gonna quote, and this is my piece of advice, is think of your art as like your diary, and you're not gonna lie in your diary. Like your diary is, or your journal, whatever it is, that's when you're your most authentic self. And so think of your art as like your diary and just be 100% you. Like don't make it for anyone else. Don't even make it for if you think it's going to sell. Like make things that are 100% you and your thoughts, your experiences, and you're going to feel way more accomplished and successful, and then after that, that success I believe will follow.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Because you have to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
First.
Or like make what you like, and then that the rest of that fame, whatever, money, whatever you're desiring, that'll come later. But I think just learning to be 100% you, or making things that you genuinely love to create, that's the priority, and that should be what your art should be about, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially, don't fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like with art, it's like don't fake your art. Like be yourself.
Yeah. I agree.
I like that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yes.
So.
And then we'll put all the links in the description and all that fun stuff. And we'll see you guys. She'll be back for the after show that's coming out next week. But I am Mr. David Rano. Andrew Rano is our co-host. And Miss Alycia Shiann.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been the Lardest Podcast. Music and whatnot. You have been listening to the LA Artist Podcast. Feel free to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss the latest episode. You can see bonus content on our Instagram at Lorano Gallery, as well as our website, loranogallery.com/podcast. Stay creative, keep creating, and no matter what, be passionate about your art.